Hello everyone, welcome to my channel The Growing Pie. Today we will start most important topic of mathematics, real analysis. First see why we learn real analysis in so deep. There are many sets, rationals, irrationals, integers, naturals. Then why do we learn real analysis in so deep? Because unlike others, R satisfies all these three properties. R is an ordered set, R satisfies completeness property, and R is a field. So let's see what are these properties. First is ordered set. So when we say that R is ordered set or any set is an ordered set, it means the set satisfies law of trichotomy. So that means suppose x and y belongs to R, then either x is less than y, x is greater than y, or x is equal to y. So when we say that some set satisfies law of trichotomy, in this case, let's say R satisfies law of trichotomy, which means for any two numbers x and y, only these three are the possibilities. So either x will be less than y, x will be greater than y, or x is equal to y. Second is, for every a, b, c belongs to R, a is less than equal to b implies a plus c is less than or equal to b plus c. Okay. So for any three numbers, when we say that one number is less than or equal to the other number, then if we add the same number on the both sides, this relation will not change. Okay. So let's see what is third. So for every a and b belongs to R, a is less than or equal to b implies AC is less than or equal to BC if C is greater than 0 and AC is greater than or equal to BC if C is less than 0. So first we saw what happens when we add on both sides. Now we have to see what happens when we multiply. So if C is greater than 0, then this relation will not change. And if C is less than 0, then this relation will change. Let's see what is property 4. This is well-known property. You must know the law of transitivity. Which goes like, for every A, B, C belongs to R, A is less than or equal to B and B is less than or equal to C, then this both implies A is less than or equal to C. So when we say that R is ordered set, R satisfies all these four properties. Now if we see the other sets, for example rational, irrationals or complex, we can see that set rational, irrational or Z satisfies ordered set property, but the complex numbers does not satisfy ordered set property. So let us see what is completeness property. To understand the completeness property, we have to understand few terms first. So let's see, bounded above set. A set S in R is said to be a bounded above if there exists M belongs to R such that for every X belongs to S, X is less than or equal to M. So if you have number line R suppose and elements of S like this, here, anywhere it could be. And you can consider elements of S infinite or finite. that doesn't matter. So if you have m such that for every x belongs to S, x is less than or equal to m, then you can say that bounded above set. So if you can have such m, then you can say that the set is bounded above set. For example, suppose set S is 1, 2, then we can easily see that for m is equal to 3, for every x belongs to S, x is less than or equal to 3. And hence, we can say that set S is a bounded above set. On the other hand, if you have S is equal to 0, infinity, then for any m, you cannot have all x less than or equal to m. You cannot have this. And hence, the set S is not bounded above set. So, let's understand what is bounded below set. On the similar lines, a set S in R is said to be bounded below if there exists M belongs to R such that for every X belongs to S, X is greater than or equal to M. So, for example, if you consider this is R and you have such numbers. So, if you can have such M such that for every X belongs to S, X is greater than or equal to M, then you can say that set S is bounded below set. For example, first example, we will see above example only. For 1, 2, you can easily see that for m is equal to 0, any element which belongs to S, it satisfies this equation, and hence we can say that set S is bounded below set. For example, if you consider set S is equal to minus infinity to 0, then you cannot have such m such that every m it is less than or equal to x. You cannot have such m, and hence this S is not bounded below. On the other hand, if you have above example 0 infinity, we saw that this example is not for bounded above set. Let's see if it is bounded below or not. So for example, m is equal to minus 1. Let us see. So for m is equal to minus 1, we can easily see that for every x belongs to S, minus 1 is greater than or equal to x, and hence we can say that set S is bounded below set, not bounded above, but bounded below. Okay. Now, the set which is bounded above as well as bounded below, it's said to be a bounded set. For example, here set 1, 2 was bounded above as well as bounded below, and hence set 1, 2 is bounded set. On the other hand, if you have a set which is not bounded above or not bounded below, then we say that the set is unbounded. Now let us say what is set of upper bounds. So if you have R in which you have elements of S like this, such that this is suppose the last element after which there does not exist any element of S, then from this element to the infinity, suppose this is M, then M to infinity is said to be set of upper bounds, and it is denoted by U of S. For example, if you have, we will consider above example 1, 2. So if you have 1, 2, then after 2 there does not exist any element of S. So we can say that U of S, upper bound of set S, is 2 to infinity. Why? Because after 2 there does not exist any element of S, and hence this set is set of upper bounds of S. And similarly, if you have element like this, left to the left of which there does not exist any element of S, then minus infinity to suppose this is M, then this is said to be set of lower bounds, which is denoted by L of S. So if you see this example only, then to the left of 1 there does not exist any element of S, and hence we can say that lower bounds of S is minus infinity to the 1. Now let's see what is least upper bound. Now understand this concept very carefully, because this is the important concept, and it might get confused with complicated examples. So now we will see least upper bound. Now understand this concept very carefully, because it is important concept, and with complicated examples it might confuse us. So the least element of upper bound of set is said to be least upper bound. So for example, here we have S is equal to 1, 2, and we saw that U of S is 2 to infinity. So least element of U of S is said to be LUB, least upper bound. And similarly, the greatest element of L of S, here 1, is said to be GLB, or greatest lower bound. Now that we have seen all other terms, let us understand what is completeness property of R. So it states every set S in R which is bounded above has LUB in R. So for example, if you take S1 as 1 to 2, now as we know that from above L of S will be minus infinity to 1 and U of S will be 2 to infinity. Why? Because after 2 there does not exist any element of S1, and hence LUB is least element of upper bound set, which is 2. And now we know that 2 belongs to R. But on the other hand, if you consider set Q, Q does not satisfy completeness property. Let us see why. Suppose consider set S2 such as 1 plus 1 upon n raised to n, such that n belongs to natural numbers. It is in Q. Now we know that if n is equal to 1, 1 plus 1 raised to 1, which is 2, and if n tends to infinity, 1 plus 1 upon raised to n, limit n tends to infinity, will be E. And we can easily see that there does not contains any element of S2 in Q after E, and hence E is LUB of S2. But we know that E does not contain in Q, and hence according to the property LUB should be contained in the set. But since E does not contain in Q, Q does not satisfy completeness property. Now let's see third property, field. Now field comes in abstract algebra, so we will not go deep into that. But to say in a simple language, if for every non-zero element X belongs to set S, if X has inverse, then we can say that S is a field. Now there are many more properties after which we can call S as a field, but here it is not that important. So R is a field, we all know that R, Q and complex are filled, but Z is not a field. Why? Because to consider one element, suppose 2 belongs to Z, but there does not exist any element such that 2 inverse, that is 1 by 2, does not belongs to Z, and hence Z is not a field. Now that we have seen all three properties, let us see which set satisfies which properties. So first is complex numbers. Now we know that complex numbers satisfies completeness property, and it is not an ordered set, and we all know that it is a field. Now for real numbers, as we have seen, real number satisfies all three properties. Now coming to rationals. As we seen in the example where E was not in Q, and hence Q does not satisfy completeness property. Ordered set, Q is a ordered set and it is also a field. Now coming to rationals. Rationals does not satisfy completeness property and it is a ordered set and it is not a field. Now coming to Z. Z satisfies completeness property. As we have seen, Z is a ordered set but Z is not a field. Why? Because 2 belongs to Z but the inverse of 2, which is 1 by 2, does not belongs to Z, and hence Z is not a field. Now if you see here R, only R satisfies all three properties. So when we go deep into R and when we see other properties, it is very easy for us to determine all other sets, properties of all other sets, and hence we first study R and then accordingly we go to Q complement and all.